Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Indigenous All-Stars versus the Maori All-Stars review. Hope you guys are doing well on this Saturday night. Welcome to the review. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are currently at 1,065 subscribers. The channel is doing well. The support is much appreciated. Tonight we saw the Indigenous All-Stars versus the Maori All-Stars. It was a 10-all draw up there at Queensland Country Bank Stadium up there in Townsville. A very entertaining game. I know there was a lot of errors, poor discipline, a heap of six agains, but you know what? For the first real rugby league game of the season, I thought it was very entertaining. I know it wasn't the best game of football to watch, but it was just good to see some footy back on the TV. But let's go through the review, guys. I've got my notes down, written down, ready to go. So let's welcome to the Indigenous All-Stars versus the Maori All-Stars review. So in the 4th minute, the Maori All-Stars were looking very good early. There was a Patrick Herbert no try. Dylan Walker with a nice flick to Patrick Herbert. Unfortunately, it went forward, and there was a no try there to the Maori All-Stars. Unlucky there. And then not long after that, there was a grubber kick from Benji Marshall to Charles Nicoll-Klokstad there, and Jack Whiten actually took out Charles Nicoll-Klokstad. Surprisingly, he didn't go to the sin bin. I know last year a lot of those ones you would go to the sin bin. You know, the ones where you put a grubber kick through and the play that gets closest to the ball gets taken out. It's normally a professional foul, but for some reason it was just a penalty to the Maori All-Stars. I thought it should have been a professional foul, but anyway, we move on from that. And then 15 minutes into the game, the Maori All-Stars, they had all the ball. They had about 77% possession. They were dominating with the ball, and the Indigenous All-Stars, they were holding their own. They were defending very well. They were backing themselves. They were trusting each other, and they were doing a good job in defense. And then, I guess you could say the first 15, 20 minutes were very frustrating. There was a heap of six agains. The Maori All-Stars had a 4-2 six again lead. There was six agains early on, and it was just ridiculous. I thought it was a bit ridiculous the way the game started with all the six agains and stuff. And then there was a couple of penalties that went to the Maori All-Stars. The Indigenous discipline was a little bit poor. Wasn't looking too good there. And then in the 30th minute, you know, obviously they were playing quarters because of the hot weather up in Townsville, and it was wet and slippery up there as well. They played quarters, which was pretty frustrating. First 20 minutes, no points in the game. And then in the 30th minute, Jamal Fogarty put up a bomb, and there was a little bit of a dangerous tackle from Dallin Watene-Zelezniak. He tackled Fogarty's leg. I reckon he hit him in the hip, but I got him in the leg, they reckon. Dangerous contact. Penalty to the Indigenous All-Stars. I kicked the penalty goal. They were leading 2-0. And then, the 35th minute of the game, Zane Musgrove did a shoulder charge in the head on, I think it was Tyrell Famunio from memory. Just grabbing the notes here in front of me. Yeah, the 20th minute. Actually, let me apologise. The penalty goal was at the 20th minute. I do apologise about that. The 35th minute, Zane Musgrove with a shoulder charge to the head. I think it was on Tyrell Famunio. He went to the sin bin, Zane Musgrove. To be honest, it was a pretty poor attempt of a shoulder charge. If he had got all of it, it would have been a lot worse, but it was a pretty stupid idea from Zane Musgrove, so he'll probably cop a suspension for that. So anyway, at half-time, the Indigenous All-Stars led 2-0. The Maori All-Stars had most of the possession. We all thought that the Maori All-Stars were probably the better team in the first half, but the Indigenous All-Stars, their attack was a bit flat, and they just weren't able to execute anything that was going for them. But to the Indigenous boys' credit, their defense was really good in the first half, and to keep the Maori All-Stars to 0 was a fantastic effort. So then in the second half, in the 47th minute, there was a captain's challenge there from Isan Masters. He dropped the ball and then sort of regathered it. The captain's challenge was successful. So the Maori All-Stars were able to play the ball there. They won the captain's challenge. And then finally, in the 50th minute, we get a try. Benji Marshall with an absolutely brilliant face ball to Jordan Ricky right in front of the post. There was Benji Marshall. There was, who else was there? There was Joseph Tarpany. And there was, it was Fisher Harris and Ricky. And he got to Jordan Ricky. He scored under the post, basically. It's a fantastic try. And at this stage, Patrick Herbert converted the conversion. The Maori the Indigenous All-Star, the Maori All-Stars were leading 6-2. They had the lead, and they were looking pretty good at this stage, the Maori All-Stars. And then about 4 minutes later, Um, I think it was Jamal. I think it was Jamal Fogarty threw an absolute shocker of a pass, and there was an intercept to Joseph Manu. He ran about 70 meters, and he gave a pass away to Dallin Watene-Zelezniak. He scored out wide. At this stage, the Maori All Stars are leading 12 points, 10 points to 2. The conversion was missed from Patrick Herbert. Maori's leading 10 points to 2. They're looking very good at this stage. The Maori All Stars, the Indigenous All Stars are in all sorts. And then they kicked off out in the fall. They weren't looking too good. Things were going really bad for the Indigenous All-Stars. And then in the 56th minute, Tyrone Peachey, just a really stupid thing to do. The Maori All-Stars were going for a 7-tackle set. Peachey decides to get in the way and kick the ball away or something. Goes for 10 in the bin. At this stage, we're thinking the Maori All-Stars could win this by 20 the way it's going. And then it ended up being three-quarter time at this stage. Still 20 minutes to go in the game, and we're thinking to ourselves, right, if the Indigenous All-Stars score a try, they could win this game. It was looking like the Maori All-Stars were going to win this game by a fair bit. And then finally, in the 65th minute, Latrell Mitchell finally showed up. He got involved in the game. He had a very quiet game up until this moment. And Latrell Mitchell put a nice little grubber kick in for Alex Johnson. He scored in the corner for the Indigenous All-Stars. Latrell converted the goal. The Maori All-Stars led 10 points to 8. The Indigenous All-Stars got all the momentum. They're coming for him. And then in the 76th minute, the Maori All-Stars get a goal line dropout. The Indigenous All-Stars kick the goal line dropout. It goes short. They get the ball back. The Indigenous All-Stars off the contest. They're looking a lot better here. Things are going all right. And then the 77th minute, a minute later, in the 77th minute, Jesse Raymond gets the ball right, makes a break, drops the ball, and we're thinking, right, that's it, it's game over. Indigenous All-Stars have got no chance now. And then literally the next set, Jerome Luai got the ball, kicked it out in the fall, which was a shock to everybody at the stadium and everyone at home watching. And then the 78th, and then the last minute of the game, James Fisher-Harris decides to give away a penalty deliberately, in my opinion. And then because I think the Maori All-Stars were cooked. They didn't have much energy left. They were all buggered. Match fitness was starting to give in. The first time anyone's played since probably September, October. So they give away a penalty. They kick the conversion in front. There's a minute to go. It's 10-all. And then last play of the game, the Indigenous All-Stars just throw the ball around. There's not much they could really do at this stage. And then they put in a kick in, and then nothing really worked out for them there. And it ended up being a 10-all draw between the Indigenous All-Stars and the Maori All-Stars. Now, I want to go through some of the players who I thought were good and who I thought were really poor. Latrell Mitchell, we'll start with him. I thought he had a really poor game. I don't think his fitness is there at the moment. I think Latrell put on a little bit of weight in the off-season. He looks a bit fatter than normal, Latrell Mitchell does. I think he needs to lose about 5 kilos. He looks a bit overweight in my opinion, so hopefully he can drop some weight before the season starts. I think he looks a little bit overweight there, Latrell Mitchell. Ferguson and Johnson. I thought Ferguson was okay. He wasn't too bad. I thought Alex Johnson was a little bit quiet, but he scored a nice try late in the game for the Indigenous All-Stars. Whiten and Ramian. Wasn't really a big fan of Jack Whiten in the centres. I thought he was a little bit quiet. Didn't do a whole lot in my opinion. Jesse Raymond. Thought he was quite good for the Indigenous All-Stars. I thought he was probably one of their best tonight. Raymond. I thought he had a really good game. Cody Walker and Jamal Fogarty. I thought Cody Walker overplayed his hand a little bit too much here. Thought he was a little bit poor, Cody Walker. Jamal Fogarty had an average game. Had a good first half. Had a very shit second half. I thought Fogarty was pretty average tonight. Fafita and Josh Kerr. I thought they were great for the Indigenous All-Stars. I thought Andrew Fafita and Josh Kerr played very well. Ruben Cotter, the hooker for the Indigenous All-Stars. Thought he was okay as well. Fafita and Tyrell Famunio. David Fafita was pretty strong, I thought. Tyrell Famunio was okay. Tyrone Peachey at lock. I thought he was really disappointing. I thought he was poor. I don't think he's a lock, Tyrone Peachey. I thought he was average at best. Corey Thompson played okay, I thought. Jermaine Tanua-Brown and Cade Cuss. I thought they were also very solid for the Indigenous All-Stars. Chris Smith was average, I thought. Zach Sadler, not a bad player. I thought he played pretty good. Josh Curran was very good for the Indigenous All-Stars. And Brian Kelly wasn't too bad. Now, for the Maori All-Stars, I thought Chance Nickel-Coxdale was very good. I thought Watene-Zelezniak played well. Patrick Herbert was average, I reckon. Joseph Manu was okay. Dylan Walker was okay as well. I I thought Jerome Luai and Benji Marshall were very good for the Maori All-Stars. I thought they had a good game. I thought Benji was probably the better half than Luai. Luai had a couple of errors, pass over the sideline, a kick out in the fall. I thought he was good running the ball, Luai, but Benji was really good at controlling the side. Russell Packer did absolutely nothing. I thought he was terrible. Fisher Harris was very good, I reckon. Probably one of the best on the field, to be honest. Marshall King, not too bad, I thought. Marshall King. Brenton Nakora and Jordan Ricky. I thought Jordan Ricky was absolutely fantastic. I thought Brenton Nakora played very well as well. Joseph Tarpany, again, another strong performance. Isaac Luke was pretty good off the bench. I thought he did a good job. Isaac Luke. Jackson Topine, thought he was all right. Zane Musgrove, absolute idiot. I thought he was average. Emre Peru from the Cowboys wasn't too bad as well. Isan Masters played okay, I guess. Dejan Assi, not too bad as well. Look, even though it was an average game of football, a lot of errors, poor discipline, it was good to see some footy back on TV tonight. I was very excited for the footy, and you know what? A 10-all draw. I think it's probably what deserved to happen the way the game was played. The Maori All-Stars were probably the better team, but I reckon a draw was probably the fair call, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to give this game a rating of probably a 5 out of 10. Wasn't anything special, wasn't anything great, just an average game of football. I thought the war cries and the dances at the start of the game were absolutely fantastic. I love what each culture brings to the table here. I think it's fantastic, and hopefully they can make the All-Star game between the Indigenous All-Stars and the Maori All-Stars. Hopefully they can make it something like Origin. Just make it huge, make it a big occasion. But before I get out of here, I'm going to give you my top 3 players on the ground tonight. Now, this was difficult to put together because I thought there was a lot of really good players tonight, but I've come up with a list. Number 3, I'm going to go with Jesse Ramian. I thought he was very good for the Indigenous All-Stars. He is my number 3. Number 2 is going to go to Benji Marshall. I thought he was very good for the Maori All-Stars. And number 1, my man of the match, agree or disagree if you want, I reckon Jordan Ricky. I thought he was fantastic for the Maori All-Stars tonight. I thought he had a very good game, Jordan Ricky. So he gets my man of the match for this game. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the review, make sure you guys go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.